Okay, American League down and out in the books. Now let's take a look at the National League playoff picture, even though, yes, we're at 7-11 only. But halfway point of the season, let's see how the races are shaping up. Um, as a whole, the National League, as opposed to the American League, it's sort of the opposite. That the West is the only really, really strong division, while the other two divisions suck. We'll start with the NL East, because again, that's how they're listed alphabetically. Not alphabetically. It's essential to be alphabetically. That's how they're listed, at least by the game. Um, in the National League, National League East, really, it's anybody's ball game. The Mets, who are at the bottom of the division and have the third worst record in the National League, are only 6.5 games out. So really, it's anyone's ball game. We'll start with the team above the top division with a 2.5 game lead. The surprising Washington Nationals. Now, the Nationals are doing it by pitching. Okay, they're only 15th in the league in hitting, but they are second in runs allowed. So again, it's the second least runs in the league. Leading their pitching is, of course, their 1-2 of Strasburg and Zimmerman. Strasburg, let's start with Zimmerman. Zimmerman, their number 2, coming off a huge season last year where he went 14-10 with a 2.75 ERA and a WHIP under 1. He's putting up another spectacular season. He's 9-4 with a 2.73 ERA and a WHIP of 1.03. So Zimmerman, only 27 years old, putting up his second straight huge year for the Washington Nationals. Strasburg, a flamethrower, only 24 years old, again putting up monster numbers. 6-2 with a 2.23 ERA. Been incredible. The defending rookie of the year has already made 14 starts, 88 innings, so he's pitching well there. Less than one batter per inning, so he's doing really well. Strasburg. Really good numbers. A lot of strikeouts, very few walks. Like I said, 6-2, 2.23 ERA. Back in the rotation's been okay. They've traded and brought in Wakamura. Malone Detweiler not pitching as well, but overall pitching's been great for them. Bullpen solid. Storin, Kimball Say, or S-C-A-Y, however you want to pronounce him. Solid bullpen. Hitting wise, like I said, they're literally 15, so they're average. They're right in the middle of the league of hitting. Zimmerman having another good season, on pace for 20 homers, like 100 runs scored, hitting 368 on base. The O-Dog having a solid season for them. In the outfield, Oduber having a really good year for them, 24 years old. Another guy who should steal a ton of bases, although he's getting thrown out a lot too. But Oduber, 343 on base percentage. Another guy who's going to score a lot of runs. Should finish over 100 this season. Interesting team. Their leader hitter Brown's playing well. So Washington, like I said, in the lead division, 2.5 games over the Atlanta Braves. Atlanta sitting exactly at 500, 44-44. Probably, I guess, I don't know. I'd say that they're not trying to win, but maybe they are. They just made a huge trade where they traded the pride and joy of Atlanta, Jason Hayward, and brought in a lot of players. They traded their best hitter, even though they're 29th in the league in hitting, so that clearly is not going to help them. They are, though, pitching, again, incredibly well, giving up the least runs in the league. So they've actually scored one more run than they've given up because they have their first in pitching and 29th in hitting. So two extremes right there. There are some good spots, at least good spots. There are some guys who are hitting well. McCann has an OPS over 900. Oswaldo Arcia having a huge season for them. On pace for 37 homers, 118 RBIs, like 100 runs scored, 55 on base percentage. Playing their awesome left fielder, so he's playing really well. Their pitching, like I said, lights out. Beachy, Hansen, both having monster years. Jurgens, their ace, low 3 ERA, so he's pitching pretty well, 3.38. Their bullpen is amazing, actually. Venter's closing for them, so Atlanta's sitting at 500. They're okay. I mean, half a game behind them. 3 games out of the division is the Philadelphia Phillies, team that won the division last season, so the defending division champs. They're 20th in runs scored and 14th in runs allowed, so not great, I would say. Again, both average with even though they have a huge payroll. Again, payroll, like I showed in the American League One, payroll's not seem to be paying off for teams, pun intended. $172 million payroll, yet they're a game under 500. Victor Martinez hitting over 300 for them, but making a lot of money, so he better be. Philadelphia relying more on small ball, stealing a ton of bases. They're only middle of the league in homers. Pitching, they're, like I said, 14th in pitching. They probably should be better. I mean, they got Doc, who's amazing, still pitching to a 2 ERA, just exactly 2.00, with a .96 ERA. Lee is still pitching well. The disappointment, I guess, would have to be Greinke. Greinke is killing them. Greinke is literally killing any chance that the Philadelphia Phillies have of winning the division or making the playoffs. They're 1 game under 500. He is 10 games under 500. So if it wasn't for him, if he was even at 500, then they'd be winning this division. But Greinke is 2-12 with a 6.19 ERA, 1.57 WHIP, not good at all. He's their number 3 starters, and they're counting on him. And Greinke is just killing them. So that's got to improve if they have any chance. I mean, they just made a big trade too, dealing Utley away. So that's Philadelphia. Sure, let's mention Miami. Miami's just in passing 8 games under 500, and yet they're only 6.5 out of the division. Miami, 23rd in runs scored, 18th in runs allowed. I don't really have much to say about them. They traded their best player, Johnson. Not made that best player, but Stanton and Sano. Well, Stanton's their best player. Now they have Stanton, Sano, and Hanley. They got 3 good young hitters. Say put Thomas in that group, maybe 4 good young hitters. Sano hopefully will come in, step up, replace, help their hitting, make it better. Pitching wise, I don't know. What can I say about their pitching wise? Not much. Webb and Sanchez are okay. Everyone else sucks, I guess. That's pretty much in the AL East. Washington in the lead with Atlanta and Philadelphia chasing. Really, any of those 3 could win it. New York, just old, not playing well. Although New York Jam likes to make moves, so I'm not counting him out. Being only 6.5 games out of division lead, obviously. In the Central, again, the league division leader is 46-41. Simply in the St. Louis Cardinals, only 5 games over 500. St. Louis, more like an American League team, is scoring the 4th most runs in the league, so they're bashing the ball. And they're also giving up a lot of runs. They're 24th in runs allowed. Pujols, awesome as always, although for making $32 million, you better be. Hitting 323 with a 395 on-base percentage, on pace for 20 homers and 99 RBI. So, not driving in a ton, but probably guys aren't getting base for him. Rasmus, playing well. Rayburn, pretty good. So, they're hitting the ball really, really well. They are not pitching it well, though. Their rotation, of course, is anchored by McClellan and Drabek, and neither is really pitching well. McClellan's solid, I guess, 6 and 7 with 3.91. It's a big difference there. ERA is pitching only okay. Drabek, 3.95. Again, pitchers, they're pitching solid. They're not pitching incredibly. St. Louis has a 2-game lead over Chicago. The Cubs always pull off trades, won this division each of the past 2 seasons. And I probably might pick to win it again this year. They are more nationally again, going with 18th in runs scored, scoring 401 runs, and they are allowing 388 runs. So they're only a game over 500, but their point differential is better. They've scored 13 more runs than they're giving up, so they should probably be a little bit better than that. They're 5th in runs allowed. Looking for a big bat is the Cubs. The Cubs GM. Are the Cubs. They're hitting the long ball, though, still. I mean, a bunch of guys in Phillips, Morales, Worth, and Brett Jackson all have double digits in homers. No one really hitting for average, and is what the Cubs GM is looking to do. Find someone who has average, since they're 24th in batting average and 22nd in walks, so they're not a really high OBP team. The hitting's not that good. Pitching really good, or at least pretty good, I would say. Gallardo, Garza, Jung, all pitching pretty solidly. Garza, high ERA for him, 4.23. Gallardo, 3.79. Su-Min Jung, 3.31. So the pitching is solid, at least good enough should be to win in the Central. And I have faith that the Cubs GM will go out and make a trade, find himself something that will help, and probably propel him to win the Central. But each of the past 2 seasons, I've picked a different team to win the Central. The Pittsburgh Pirates picked them again at the beginning of this year, but maybe this is their season. They're at 500, 44-44. Average in everything, pretty much, scoring the 15th most runs, giving up the 17th least runs. So middle of the pack in both cases. Markakis is having a good season for them offensively, finally. Although Yeah, I guess finally would be right to say about him. Miggy putting up his usual 300 average, double-digit homers. On pace for his 100 run scored almost. It's a solid season for him, not a monster season in any sense, but a solid workman-like season for him. McCutcheon's having an okay season. They walk quite a bit. The Pittsburgh Pirates do. They're 7th in walks. So the hitting's okay. Pitching, the same thing, is okay. Garrett Cole, pretty good. I mean, their ace is not pitching like it. He's pitching to a low 4 ERA, 4.25, game under 500 at 5 and 6 with 1.28 WHIP. Kevin Correa is being a beast, carrying them 9 and 6 with 2.7 ERA, so he's pitching really well. Rest of the back in rotation, not that good. High 4 ERA, low 5s. Penn's okay with hand-or-hand closing. Besides that, Penn's not that good either. Pittsburgh has recently just made a trade, though. Added another pitcher, with the rebuilding Arizona, so that should help them. They dealt some of their specs and their first, so they're hoping that they're going full bore. They're hoping that it works out for them, bringing in another good starter from Arizona. Milwaukee's 6.5 back, but they're 8 games under 500, and they're pretty much trying to rebuild, as are Houston and Cincinnati. So those three teams aren't going to make much noise in the division. Only thing they can do is play spoiler. So, like I said, St. Louis is leading now. Chicago, my pick will probably catch them, and I'm rooting for Pittsburgh, of course. In the West tends to be an interesting division, and again, it is this year, although it appears to be a possibly 2-team race. Colorado, who came out of nowhere to win the division last season, won 103 games, which is huge. They are having another really good season, leading the division. Right now, they're 53 and 34, and they are doing it 13th in runs scored, 8th in runs allowed. So they're pitching, I guess, again, which is surprising. We figure Coors Field, but they did pitch really, really well last season. Ubaldo having a really good season, 10 and 5 to 2.94. Hamill, Chacin are coming back down to earth after their monster last season, really. Penn is not that good. No one really pitching lights out to the Penn besides Rouch. Their hitting has been pretty good. Carlos Gonzalez having another really good season. I mean, they had like a triumvirate last year with him and Tulo and the other guy. But Gonzalez hitting 314, 48 RBI, 11 homers. Tulo only hitting 281, but he had 350 on pace with 20 homers, 91 RBI, 102 runs scored. So Colorado leading the division right now with a 2.5 game lead over the hated San Francisco Giants. Mike has himself a good team that is really coming on strong now. They are 7th in runs scored and 4th in runs allowed. So a well-rounded team. Mike's put together a team that can pitch as well as can hit. Gotten lucky somehow. Hitting, Posey, a monster catcher. Kobe Clemens, making all those naysayers eat their words, is the leadoff hitter for the team, although I wouldn't have done that. He has a 345 on base percentage, on pace with 31 homers, so the powers come around too. 100 RBI, 100 runs scored. Brandon Belt, not there with the average, only hitting 264, but his on base is high with 381. Another guy on pace for 26 homers, 100 RBI. So they are hitting the ball. Pac-Man also, I mean, they have their full team of hitting besides their shortstop. They're not getting much shortstop play out of Marte or Morse. Either way you look at it, their shortstop has always been a deficiency for Mike, at least in this league. Pitching has been really good. Bumgarner, 2.97 ERA, 8 and 2, leading the rotation. Lincecum signed, probably happy now, signed to his long-term extension at $25 million a year, so he better start pitching well for them. Low 3 ERA, so workmanlike for Lincecum, could do better, but is not bad. After that, Casimir, Volquez, and Kane, they're not lighting the world on fire. Casimir, 5 ERA, Volquez, mid-4 ERA, Kane, 4.2 ERA, so Mike might want to try shoring up the back end of that rotation, but Penn, as Mike has had last year, again this year, Penn is awesome. Moreno, Romo, Qualls, Wilson, Wheeler, Bell, everyone's pitching well, so his entire pen. So really he just needs Mike just needs 6 innings out of his bullpen, from his starters, and then he is set. Arizona has a really good record, 48 and 39, but there's only 5 games out of the division, but probably He says he's rebuilding. The team refuses to die, though. He's scoring 9th in runs scored and 12th in runs allowed.